So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Venus Ketu in the 10th house of your birth chart, as in what happens when these two planets are conjunct. And if you don't know anything about your birth chart, what sign, nakshatra, all of these things about your chart, you can go to Astrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and of course my blank chart prediction course in my academy. Currently, I just did Virgo, and so it's uploaded now. You can go watch it. So anyway, Venus Ketu in the 10th house. This particular Venus Ketu, irrespective of the sign, you're not here to receive love or get love. This doesn't mean that you don't get love or receive love. I'm saying you're not here for that. That's not your duty. Your duty is to give. Your duty is to give love, give nourishment, give a balancing act of diplomacy into society. Especially, actually both ways it works. You will see it becomes more intense when Venus has Ketu in front, but when Venus has Ketu behind itself in the degree, naturally a person will be inclined towards doing work that is somehow wanting to bring some kind of a joy or happiness to a person. This is why you can actually see many entertainers, many comedians may have Venus Ketu in the 10th house. Maybe other planets are involved too. But the thing is, and look, Stewie is barking, Mr. Woozies. So what I'm saying is very important. Okay? Because such people naturally know that, I gotta make other people happy. People who don't have happiness, let me give it to them somehow, some way. So this is one of the most important tasks that a person has to learn. You know why? Because if you may think like, okay, well, I'm not going to learn this, whatever. What else you got? Well, the thing is, you ain't going to move forward. You will not move forward in life until you do this. There has to be a zero hint of selfishness with Venus Ketu in the 10th, because 10th house is the most powerful house within the chart. Okay, literally after the 9th house comes the 10th house, more than even the first house, which is of the Kendra. It's one of the most powerful Kendra. That's where sun is giving its most brightest of light. That means your Venus Ketu were in the brightest of light when you were born. You couldn't see it, that's fine. Astronomically, you won't be able to see it. But transcendentally, Venus Ketu are saying there's a karma here. A big karma with Venus and Ketu. Like usually you will see stories of, let's say, somebody who is let's say even a fashion designer, somebody who becomes a doctor. If you see the stories of Venus Ketu person in the 10th as to why they're pursuing this particular career, it's not because of truly, and when they say, they mean it. That no, it's not for the money. When I grew up, I saw the people around me who were dealing with this, dealing with that. I was in a particular neighborhood where half the people died because of this. We had to escape. And I'm like, you know what? I need to help such people. I need to find solution for this. So naturally, they become healer of that particular thing that they saw. Like, for example, back in the days, there was something called Asiatic cholera, which now you can easily, come out of. But back then, many people died. Okay? And due to this, somebody gets motivated that I need to bring some kind of a Sanjeevani into the world. I want to revive something. I have seen enough things end in my life that I don't want it to end. I want it to continue. This can also translate to somebody who will do extreme amount of philanthropy. Okay? And I'm not talking about philanthropy because of tax write-offs. I'm talking about philanthropy because they wanted to do philanthropy. So the sooner you understand this Venus's karma, the better your life becomes. The more you give, the better, higher your Venus becomes. And the thing is, it becomes a lesson. Every single planetary placement is a lesson. Because Venus in the 10th with Ketu will actually look for attention in the beginning of life. First half of life is all about pay attention to me. This is me. This is who I am. See how creative I am. See how dynamic I am. See how beautiful I am. Then what happens is a turn comes right around the age of between 34 and 36, where suddenly a person will lose that particular interest of Venus Ketu, that me, look at me, to now wanting to not, don't look at me, don't see me, see my work. So there is, with Ketu there, that's the thing, with Ketu in the 10th house. One, a person becomes extremely ambitious about money. Like, I need money. Especially when Ketu has Venus in the front. Okay? So Ketu is at, let's say, 10 degrees, Venus is at 14, 15 degrees. Very ambitious towards making money. But then Ketu clears out that delusion. And second half, they pay more attention to the heart. They may pay more attention to their 4th house area, whether it's home, family, their heart, their love, what they're giving. And this is the Venus that usually you will see a person get their marriage broken because one is married to their job, one is married to their work. They don't want to pay attention. And by the time they pay attention in the second half of life, this is when things can break apart. Now, of course, it's very important, especially in a male's chart, when you have this particular position, especially when Ketu has a higher degree than Venus, that you find a person who is aligned. You find a girl or the wife who is aligned with Venus and Ketu. She's doing profession related to Ketu, work related to Ketu, hobbies related to Ketu. That's when you will be like, hey, I found the one. But if you go for somebody with regular professions like management and sales and marketing, entertainment, then those, first of all, those relationships will not even move forward after a certain time. They'll break. And I've talked about it enough with the Venus Ketu position. Okay, where especially the person that you look for should either deal with sharp objects, research, special skill, like a specialty, like somebody is a general practitioner, doctor in a hospital. They'll see you when you make an appointment. Then there is a endocrinologist. Then there is a cardiologist. Then there is like a neurologist. Those are specialties. I'm not saying they have to be a specialty in medical field. They have to have a specific skill. Like, for example, you can learn about plumbing and fix things around your home. You can learn about how to make a structure like a cabin in the woods. You can do it. But if you were to learn something like watchmaking, you can't learn that by watching a video. You have to actually practice it. You have to actually do it. Somebody has to be there guiding you for at least 5-6 years before you specialized in watchmaking. That's why those watchmaking makers and high-end companies make high 6 figures. Which is why you see those watches are like $50,000, $100,000, $1 million. Those $1 million watch, do you know when it sells? Just the watchmaker itself probably gets, I think, 100 to 150K. So that's a specialized skill. And the other thing that becomes very important, because what is third from Venus in this position? 12th house. You have to learn to give. Venus is motivated by the 3rd house. Every planet is motivated by 3rd from itself. So give money, donate. And naturally Ketu is there. You have to donate. Otherwise, then you see suffering in your own profession and career and your karma. So the more you give, the more you receive. Also with Venus Ketu, most of the time you will see if the person doesn't specialize in something, you just got an MBA. You will not be using that MBA in your profession in a long term. When you look at your lifespan you're working from 20 to 65, you'll be doing something completely different that you never learned in MBA program or anything. You did MBA. By the time you hit your mid-30s, you're doing real estate, which you don't need an MBA for. You opened up a restaurant, which you don't need an MBA for. You may think, oh, well, MBA teaches you how to do business and all that. No, I'll give you the best MBA lesson in 5 seconds. Business management, right? Buy something for $1, sell it for $2, you know business. And when you sell it for $2, you take out, what, 20 cents, 30 cents for taxes. If somebody's helping you, take out 10 cents for that. If you marketed it, you take out 15% of the marketing, keep the rest of the profit. Okay, there you go. Now you know business. You don't need MBA. So that's the thing. So Venus Ketu, and you will see with Venus Ketu, right? This is a Padam Yoga. What is a Padam Yoga? This is a yoga of going to the heights of things, heights of luxury, heights of wealth, heights of money. But what is it saying? Besides whatever I just already told you, what one has to do. Involve your spouse in your work. Even if you're in a job, somehow get your spouse involved in your work. Have her help you at a project. Let's say both of you are IT engineers. She's working for one company, you're working for the other. If you, as the person who has Venus Ketu, because Venus is naturally the significator of the spouse. When you involve the spouse in your work, the work begins to blossom like lotus flower. The other thing you can do, if you have an office that you go to work, maybe even a cubicle, you can put a stencil of a lotus, like a white stencil of a lotus, which helps you activate that Padam Yoga. Okay? Now, obviously, you want to make sure there's no planet in between Venus and Ketu's degree. In the string of Venus and Ketu, you only want Venus and Ketu. Then it's a true Padam Yoga. Okay. And then also with Venus Ketu, you will see people usually can become excellent divorce humanitarian lawyers, ambassadors, IFS officers, because Venus knows the art of the deal. Venus has the art of the deal, not Jupiter, not Mercury, not Sun. Sun's the king. Sun's going to get angry. It needs what it wants. That's it. Either it's him or the highway or the guillotine or something. That's the king. Venus is like, okay, let's negotiate. Let's come to the table and let's talk. So Venus brings this skill with Ketu, precise skill, how to negotiate something. So if you have this, especially in a male chart, you will see wife will be very good at negotiating, very good at intuitively seeing how much this thing should be. How should you approach your interview? There's this natural intuition, and you will know Venus Ketu people in the 10th naturally have an intuition related to the person they're going to marry. They'll be like, I'm going to be marrying that person. You've heard all these stories many times. When I saw her the first time, I knew I was going to marry her. This is how this Venus Ketu works. Okay. One will also be very intuitive with money. Like if people go into investment banking with this, they naturally have intuition. What is going to be happening with money and how does money work? With Venus Ketu in the 10th, marriage counselors, excellent marriage counselors, even outside the scope of like horoscope matching or, looking at a chart or your hand. And look, my dog's barking again. Why? Because Ketu is naturally occult. Even if the person is an atheist that only believes in science, that Venus-Ketu combination intuitively makes them so good that they can challenge an astrologer and say, look at my clients, how many marriages I've saved, how many marriages did you save? Why? Because it's not them. It is their previous experience that is guiding them. They know what the problem is, what the root cause of the issue is in the marriage. Wife is naturally very intuitive about the marriage. Wife knows when things are starting to go downhill within the marriage. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Venus-Ketu conjunction. Remember, I'm filled with subscribers. I'm good with subscribers. I don't need them. Now I have an application process. So if you want to subscribe to me, there's an application fill out. If I see you're a right match, there'll be some Zoom interviews. And if me and my assistant think that you're a right fit, then of course you can subscribe. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.